Today we need to talk about something that has shaken the entire fan base and sparked a wave of heated debate across national shows, insider forums, and every pocket of the football world. Conversations are now swirling about the possibility that the 49ers front office could evaluate major changes to their coaching structure once this season wraps. It is not confirmed. It is not a leak. But there is enough smoke from analysts, insiders, and observers close to league personnel that fans are beginning to wonder if something big is brewing inside the building.
And right now, we are going to break down exactly why these discussions have surfaced, which areas are being questioned, how the front office historically handles internal reviews, and most importantly, what this could mean for the future of the franchise. So if you are a real fan, stay locked in, because this conversation is layered, complex, and potentially explosive.
Let us begin with the spark that ignited this entire conversation. Throughout the season, several national analysts began pointing out inconsistencies in certain phases of the team's performance. They noted moments when execution did not match expectations, when adjustments were slow, or when play-calling patterns became predictable. These analysts were not calling for changes directly. They were simply evaluating trends, something they do every week. But over time, a pattern emerged.
They repeatedly questioned the same areas of the coaching staff, especially during tough stretches or high-pressure situations.
When enough analysts start asking the same questions, fans pick up on it quickly. And once fans begin talking, the national media amplifies the conversation. Even if no one in the building has said anything publicly, the momentum of discussion can grow on its own. And that is exactly what we have seen now. The conversation has become big enough that people are starting to wonder whether the front office could consider reviewing certain coaching rules this offseason, just as any successful franchise does every single year.
Let us be clear. The 49ers front office is known for being intentional, long-term focused, and extraordinarily strategic. They do not operate on impulse. They do not make emotional decisions. Every choice is rooted in evaluation, analytics, performance data, and the direction of the team. And at the end of every season, they conduct a full top-to-bottom review of every department. This includes coaching, scouting, roster building, training, and medical operations.
Every strong franchise does this. The 49ers simply do it better than most.
So the current speculation is not about drama or conflict. It is about whether this year's review could produce a more significant shift than usual.
Now let us break down the areas analysts have pointed to as possible review subjects. Again, nothing confirmed. This is strictly public conversation driven by performance trends. One area often mentioned is situational play calling. Some analysts noted that in certain tough matchups, the team struggled to find offensive rhythm early or became too conservative in high-leverage moments. On the defensive side, some pointed to moments when the pass rush did not generate the expected disruption, or the secondary appeared out of sync during certain stretches. These are not new critiques. Every contender faces them.
But this year they occurred in clusters, and that is what got analysts talking.
Another area mentioned by national commentators is communication dynamics among the coaching staff during games. Sideline cameras sometimes captured moments that appeared tense, especially after breakdowns in execution. Analysts love to dissect these moments, even if they mean nothing internally. But when the team is under a microscope, every frame becomes part of the conversation.
The question now is whether the front office views these patterns as minor issues that can be fixed with internal adjustments, or whether they see them as signs that a larger strategic shift may be needed to stay ahead of other elite contenders.
To understand how the front office thinks, we need to look at their history. Over the years, they have shown a willingness to evolve. They have shifted coordinator roles, hired new voices, and adjusted staff responsibilities when needed. They are not afraid to bring in new perspectives if it helps the team stay competitive. At the same time, they value stability, chemistry, and continuity.
They will not make changes lightly, especially not with a team that is consistently in championship contention.
This is where things get interesting. The current speculation sits right at the intersection of stability and evolution. The team is successful, but there are enough talking points from analysts that fans are beginning to wonder if the front office will see opportunities for improvement during the upcoming evaluation cycle. Now let us talk about the human side of this conversation. Coaching changes, even hypothetical ones, carry real weight.
These staff members are deeply connected to players, to systems, to the culture of the team. Any shift, whether it is a role reassignment or a hiring addition, affects the locker room, affects development, affects game planning, and affects the identity of the franchise. That is why every decision must be precise.
Fans sometimes assume these choices are easy, but they are not. They require deep analysis, collaborative discussion, and a long-term vision of where the team needs to go. That is why the front office does not react emotionally. They gather data, review film, speak with players, evaluate trends, and assess fit. Only then do they make a choice.
The speculation around a possible shift is so loud right now because the stakes are incredibly high. The team is built to compete for championships. Every year is precious. Every edge matters. And when analysts raise questions about whether certain areas have plateaued, the front office will take that seriously during their postseason review.
Fans want dominance. They want innovation. They want schemes that push the team ahead of every opponent. If the front office believes that bringing in a fresh coaching perspective can elevate the team even further, they will consider it. And they will do it with one purpose only: maximizing the championship window.
Now here is where this conversation becomes even more powerful. Any potential shift does not have to be a firing or a removal. Often, teams restructure roles, shift responsibilities, or bring in additional experts to support specific phases of the team. Some franchises have hired passing game specialists, run game strategists, clock management analysts, or high-level consultants. These moves are subtle but impactful. It is entirely possible that if the front office senses room for improvement, they may make supportive hires rather than sweeping changes. This maintains continuity while enhancing capability. Let us also remember that success creates opportunities elsewhere. Every year when the 49ers perform well, other teams target their coaches. If an opposing franchise reaches out to interview a coordinator, the front office must be prepared with contingency plans. Sometimes what appears from the outside as a shakeup is simply proactive planning for potential departures.
Now let us shift to the fan reaction. The fan base is already divided. Some believe everything is fine and nothing should change. Others believe innovation is necessary. And a large portion sits in the middle, waiting to see how the postseason plays out before forming a strong opinion. This is normal. When a franchise is operating at an elite level, any conversation about internal adjustments becomes emotional.
But this is also why fans must stay grounded. Evaluations are a normal part of every offseason. They do not mean panic. They do not mean conflict. They simply mean that a championship-caliber front office wants to stay ahead of the league. And that is exactly what fans should want.
As we look ahead, remember this: the 49ers have one of the sharpest leadership groups in all of football. They know how delicate the balance between stability and evolution can be. They will make decisions based on performance, fit, and long-term strategy, not noise, not speculation, not emotion.
So while the conversation in the outside world may feel dramatic and shocking, inside the building, the mindset is methodical, focused, and built around one mission: winning championships.
Whatever the front office decides after the season, it will be intentional, strategic, and aligned with the long-term vision of the franchise. And if they do decide to bring in new voices, shift responsibilities, or evolve their coaching structure, it will be because they believe it is the best move to keep the team at the top of the league for years to come. Fans should watch this conversation closely, but also trust the process. This franchise has earned that trust.